Dear students, today we will discuss about source documents as well as voucher. Source documents are the first record about the details of a business transaction. So whenever a business transaction occurs, we will write in a document. That first written document for a business transaction is the source document. So these documents are the authentic proof of the correctness of the recorded transaction. So whenever we are recording transactions in any other books, so we need an authentic proof, we need an evidence. That first evidence for recording transaction is the source document. These also serve as the legal evidence in case of a dispute. In future, any dispute arises, to prove that we have a legal evidence. That legal evidence only the source documents. Okay. So source documents are the first record about the details of a business transaction. These documents are the authentic proof of the correctness of the recorded transaction. They also serve as the legal evidence in case of a dispute. Example, cash memo. When you purchasing goods or cash or selling goods for cash, we will get a document cash memo. Invoice, any credit transaction. We are purchasing goods on credit, selling goods on credit. There is a document known as invoice. Debit note. When you purchase goods returned as well as sold goods returned, then they will prepare debit note and a credit note. Okay. Purchase goods returned, we will prepare debit note, and sold goods returned, we will prepare credit notes. And paying slip means when you depositing money in bank. So there is an evidence, we will prepare a document that is paying slip. Check, we know that normally when you transferring fund or cash from one bank account to another bank account or one party to another, we will use an evidence that is check, right? These all are the examples of the documents which need a proof, authentic proof for a transaction. So these all documents is the first evidence for a transaction, that is source documents. Now we have to talk about voucher. So on the basis of this source documents, we are putting entries on voucher. Okay, on the basis of this source documents, we are recording in voucher. Then on the basis of voucher, we are recording in the journal book. We already said two main books are there, one is journal and ledger. From the authentic proof of the source document, we will record these transactions on voucher. Then from this voucher documents help, we are recording it to the journal. So vouchers are printed separately by all the firms in their own names. Normally all vouchers are printed separately by every business organization or every organization in their own names. So separate voucher is prepared for each transaction, and it is specified the account to be debited and credited. So every business transaction, the organization will prepare separate voucher, and each voucher they will specify which account to be debited and which account to be credited. So vouchers are prepared normally by accountant, and each voucher is countersigned by the authorized person of the firm. Okay. So normally accountant will prepare the vouchers on the basis of source document, and this voucher is normally signed by the authorized person of the business. Okay. So first authentic proof is the source document. From the source document, they will analyze the source document. From the source document, accountant will prepare a document that is voucher. In this, which account should be credited when which account should be debited should be mentioned. And based on this voucher only, we are recording transactions in the journal. Okay, so from this source document, we are making voucher. Voucher, every business organization preparing printing voucher in their own names. Then accountant recording this every transactions from the source document to the voucher, and they will analyze the source document, and they will mention in the voucher which account should be debited and which account to be credited. So the voucher prepared by the accountant should be signed by the authorized person of the organization. Okay, now we have to study about different classification of voucher. Normally vouchers we can classify into cash voucher and non-cash voucher. Cash voucher we will record only cash transactions. Non-cash voucher we will record the only credit transactions or non-cash transactions. In another way of classification, we can classify vouchers into three. One is transaction voucher, second one is compound voucher, and third one is a complex voucher. So three types of voucher: transaction voucher, compound voucher, and complex voucher. First we will discuss about transaction voucher. Transaction voucher, this accounting voucher prepared for one debit and one credit, is for a simple transaction. So that is known as transaction voucher. So in a voucher we are recording only one debit account and one credit account. Normally it is for a simple transaction. See, one debit and one credit only in one transaction. Such a transaction we are recording in a voucher known as transaction voucher. Okay. Then second, compound voucher. Voucher which records a transaction which contains multiple debit or credit and one credit or debit is called a compound voucher. So voucher which records a transaction which contains multiple debit or credit and one credit or debit is called a compound voucher. So compound voucher is of two types, that is compound voucher debit voucher and or credit voucher. Debit voucher means in this debit voucher transaction with one credit and multiple debits. Okay, one credit and multiple debit are recorded in which compound voucher? Debit voucher. Okay, but in credit voucher transaction with one debit and multiple credits are recorded in which voucher? Credit voucher. Okay, so compound vouchers have two, debit voucher and credit voucher. In debit compound voucher, transaction with one credit and multiple debits. Okay, more than one debit and one credit are recording. Credit voucher, transaction with one debit and multiple credits are recorded in the credit voucher. And last voucher is complex voucher. Last third main voucher is complex. Transaction with multiple debits and multiple credits are recorded is known as complex voucher. So in complex voucher we are recording transaction with multiple debits. So more than one debit as well as more than one credit transaction we are recording in complex voucher. So complex voucher is also known as journal voucher. Okay. So first once again, in transaction voucher we are recording only one debit and one credit, simple transactions. Compound voucher we are recording multiple debit or credit or one credit or debit. Okay, it can be of two types, debit voucher and credit voucher. In debit voucher it will be one credit and multiple debits. In credit voucher it will be one debit and multiple credits. And complex voucher is transaction with multiple debits and multiple credit transactions are recording. Okay, complex voucher we also known as journal voucher. Okay. So these are the different types of vouchers. Okay, go through the slide once again and listen very carefully and study the different types of vouchers and meaning of source document and voucher. Thank you so much.